Today in this video, we're going to explain the contribution of self-help groups in rural development in India. According to the latest statistics, about 25% of the Indian population belongs to the rural poor. Women make up 1/3 of the Indian labor force. However, social constraints have prevented them from having access to and making use of the available resources that they may help them to improve their living conditions. Self-help group is seen by many as the catalyst for rural development, women, and social empowerment. Self-help groups are informal groups that consist of people who face similar problems. These people come together to form a group to overcome their common problems to improve their standard of living. They are mostly from a similar socio-economic background and are involved in undertaking small savings amongst themselves in a bank. This amount acts as the fund for the self-help groups and is used to provide loans to its members. It is a vital tool to alleviate people from below the poverty line and improve social status through the promotion of self-employment. So this is self-help groups. This is an informal groups. How are self-help groups formed? Any local individual who has needed education or skills may help to initiate the SHGs, means self-help groups. This individual is involved in bringing together all those who are facing similar problems and advocating the benefits of the self-help groups. This person is often called the animator or a facilitator. He or she is usually well known within the community. A woman animator can play a significant role in the women empowerment in rural India. However, the animator cannot bring the people together into those self-help groups by himself or herself. They are assisted by the agencies like NGOs, developmental departments of the state governments, and any of the locally available banks. How do the SHGs function? An ideal self-help group should have about 10 to 20 members. This is because if the group is bigger, it will be difficult for an individual to undertake equal participation in a large group. Next, the self-help group should not have more than one member from a particular family. This will allow the inclusion of many families. So one member per family. It should also have either only men or only women because it is found that the mixed groups are not successful. So it is maybe only the men group or women group. It is also found that the women self-help groups are more successful because the members are better at saving, women are better at saving, and that they are making use of the loans more efficiently than men. The members of the self-help groups must have similar problems and backgrounds for it to be successful. Functions of the self-help groups: to initiate and maintain savings within the group. All members must regularly save at least a small amount, 100 rupees, 50 rupees. These savings allow them to get future credits for their group. Lending loans to the members. The savings made by the SHG must be used to provide loans to members of the group. Everything related to the loan must be decided within the group. Next, to solve common problems. Self-help groups mostly consist of individuals who face similar problems. The grouping should essentially help the individual to overcome these problems through discussions and interactions within the group and overcoming the problems and finding a common and united solution to the problems. Finally, bank loans. Self-help groups must work on getting a collective guarantee system so that they can avail loans from institutional sources. Self-help group gets loan from banks. Need for self-help groups in India. The need to solve problems at the ground level. So there is a need to solve problems at the ground level in India. India is a country that has diverse culture, traditions, historical backgrounds, etc. Therefore, it is difficult for the government to solve the socio-economic problems by itself. Thus, bringing together the people who face similar problems may be a game changer for the Indian economy. Financial inclusion. According to the NSSO data, 51.4% of the farmer households are not able to have access to formal credit. So they depend on the informal credit. Most of the farmers depend on informal credit. This has led to many negative implications such as poverty, farmer suicides, etc. Many in India are not able to obtain loans due to absence of collateral. They don't have any assets for security to get credit from the formal institutions. Self-help groups can help to solve this problem. So thus it becomes easy for the farmers and the rural people to get credit from the formal institutions, which will charge them low rate of interest. Advantages of those self-help groups. First, combating social evils. The self-help groups play a crucial role in overcoming social evils like alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling, etc. Next, women empowerment. Women self-help groups make its members independent from social constraints and allow them to make independent decisions. They can even actively participate in the Gram Sabha. Next, active participation in democracy. Self-help groups can actively participate in the aspects of local governance. This would mean the inclusion of weaker and marginalized sections of the society in the local governance. Increase employment opportunities in rural areas. Self-help groups allow for micro-level entrepreneurship within the rural society and reduces too much dependence on agriculture. Next, easier access to government schemes. The government schemes are mostly meant for the marginalized sections of the society. The inclusion and identification of these people are highly difficult. If they are grouped together, It is easier for the government to identify those who are in need of assistance quickly and efficiently. It also prevents the exploitation and corruption of the government at the ground level. It improves the standard of living. The collective team effort by the self-help groups for financial inclusion allows for the improvement in the living standard. Family planning, healthcare of the vulnerable sections of the society. And finally, financial discipline. The members of the self-help groups are encouraged to open savings accounts in banks. This assures improved living conditions, increased spending on education, health, etc. Limitations. The problems associated with the self-help groups. Too much dependence on government and NGOs. Many self-help groups are dependent on the promoter agencies for their survival. In case these agencies withdraw their support, the self-help groups are vulnerable to downfall. Lacks in qualified facilitator. The facilitators do not have professional training with regards to organizing self-help groups. And that is why the self-help groups break down. Lacks of gradation, lacks in upgradation of skills. Most self-help groups are not making use of new technological innovations and skills. This is because there is limited awareness with regards to new technologies and they do not have the necessary skills to make use of the same. Furthermore, there is a lack of effective mechanisms that promote skill developments in rural areas. Self-help groups are run by non-professionals. There is no professionalism within the self-help groups. This does not promote the expansion and improvement of the self-help groups. This does not allow for the increase of wages of the members and improvement in their living conditions. This also leads to error in accounting and mismanagement of the funds. Lacks in security. Self-help groups are mostly not registered. They're informal. They are run based on the trust between the members. The savings made by the self-help group members may not be safe, which brings in the mistrust between the members. Ways, hopes. Self-help groups are seen as drivers of rural development. However, the successful self-help groups are only rarely seen as the living conditions in the rural areas remains underdeveloped. The government must take a proactive role in the promotion of the self-help groups at the grassroots level. Constant monitoring of the self-help groups is the need of this hour. A separate government body to monitor the functioning and the progress of the self-help groups can make it more successful. So we need what? A separate government body. New financial mechanisms based on the individual needs of the particular area is also essential for the self-help groups to achieve their aims and objectives. Therefore, the private banks and national banks for agriculture and rural development (NABARD) in cooperation with the local governing bodies must ensure that the financial inclusion is provided at the ground level based on the diverse needs of rural India. I hope this topic will help you to do project work on self-help groups. So go through this topic carefully I hope all the questions related to the self-help groups we can answer from this explanation. That's all for today. Thank you.